Hey, welcome everyone. Today I want to share with you an awesome way to look at confidence and how you can approach any life challenge you have confidently and actually get results. Okay, so let's get into it. What is a life challenge? Anything that you are struggling with right now where you have fears of achieving it or you're unable to determine what would it take to really succeed, that's a life challenge, and probably it's a problem which has been bothering you for a while. Okay, so it could be a shift in careers, a change in career, or getting that promotion, or saving more money, or it could be starting that really awesome business that you always thought of starting, but you don't know where to start and you're emotionally overwhelmed. So this flowchart that I've built has come about after multiple conversations with many of my clients, and I realized that it's interesting process that I see as a pattern in myself most of the time and also in my clients, and I thought of putting it down on paper and kind of just sharing that with you to see if it helps you understand where you are in this process of life challenge. All right, so usually when we have a life challenge, the first step that happens is if you're perfect and you're a confident person and you have done a lot in life, maybe you won't have this step, you'll skip to the next step maybe, but in my case, I get overwhelmed. I don't know what the fuck I need to do next. So either in that situation, either you act or you don't act. And if you don't act, you procrastinate, and as you can see in the chart, you actually feed an algorithm in your mind which is basically stress, anxiety and depression. Whereas if you do act, and the only way to act in this overwhelm is you can't use logic, guys. Like, you cannot use logic to beat logic. You have to beat emotions. So you have to use emotions to beat your emotions. So you need to first breathe and calm the fuck down. Because if your emotions are overwhelmed, your logic is shut down. Your rational part of the mind is completely shut down. So when you breathe for 3 times and identify what is the final goal I'm trying to achieve, who can I help, who can I seek help, where can I go and find more information. Like for example, if you don't know how to make a flyer for your business, okay, how can I create an awesome flyer? Like, Google that, or ask a friend who has already done it, ask an expert who's already done it, hire a coach. There are many ways you can act at this step and overcome that emotional overwhelm that you're experiencing. So the moment you are more relaxed and you're actually feeling less overwhelmed, you can move on to the next step in the flow chart, which is the prediction. Will I succeed? Now this is where one other challenge comes, right? Will I succeed? If I take this on, what are the pros and cons? Will I make it? Is it worthwhile pursuing this challenge, overcoming this challenge? Now 80% of the time we are stuck in the emotional overwhelm, right? Very few people even get to this question, will I succeed? And the people who get to this question need to apply logic, because you're finally in the realm of logic. And here is what happens when you ask that question. In your mind, there is a module or an algorithm called the confidence learning algorithm. It keeps learning. It's not constant, it is not static, it is dynamic, and it has 4 elements, right? So based on your question, it will scan through your past experiences, past successes. Have you succeeded in doing a similar task before, right? Have you started a business before? Have you gotten a promotion before? Were you able to switch careers easily in the past? Or how were you as a kid? Were you very good academically, and maybe that is an academic challenge, like it is a programming challenge? Are you good in programming, right? So it's your mind scans through all these past experiences and comes up with a prediction. That's called prediction data, right? Similarly, there is another module called the courage. How courageous are you in general as a personality? Were you courageous in the past, right? And how much are you willing to apply courage in this situation? What are the risks, right? That is a module which spits out even more data on that. And a combination of these two plus the outcome independence, that's a good one, because people who are very attached to the outcome of succeeding may not take too much risk, so they may have less courage. So it's all connected, right? So outcome independence can also be labeled as detachment from the results. So people I really like Elon Musk, because I think what he does is he's totally outcome independent. He doesn't give a fuck what happens to his projects. If it's important, he'll get it done. He's willing to take the risk. So he's more courageous, he has more outcome independence, but his past history shows that he has succeeded. So he has more confidence in approaching a life challenge, a particular business challenge, right? So outcome independence can be gained, and I'll share more on how to gain that. But outcome independence can be also called as detachment from your results. And finally, skills with a capital S at the end. Now, why skills? So skills are actually very helpful in building your confidence. So let's say right now you want to start a side gig, right? And you want to make some money in that, but you get overwhelmed. But you finally get over that overwhelm. You ask yourself, will I succeed? Now imagine if you already had skills in that side gig. Let's say you are really good with your organization skills. You're very good at organizing your home, your office. You're a very organized guy. Okay. Now that's a skill set. And let's say you want to become a coach who helps other people to be organized. Guess what? That skill is really helpful, and your prediction will be much better if you have that skill. If you don't have that skill, your prediction may be like, the confidence algorithm may be like, you know what, you can't do this right now, you will fail. That would be the answer. So let's go back to the final, the logical step where, will I succeed? If it's yes, yeah, obviously people act when it's yes. You will go ahead and do it, because, for example, you want to go from one city to the other city. Your prediction algorithm is like, yeah, let's do it. I will succeed. That's a simple question of confidence. Will I be able to drive? Even if it's late night, you will drive, right? Whereas if it's no, then will you go ahead and do it? Will you take that risk? Now here is where the interesting thing happens. If your prediction is telling you no, which is mostly the case, if it's yes, you probably would not even watch this video, right? If you're already a confident person in challenging in life challenges, you would not probably need this video. In fact, if it's no, this is where it's really important to focus. So if you still give it a go, you act, you take action. But if you don't give it a go, you don't act, which is, in other words, you procrastinate. Just like you procrastinate here, when you get overwhelmed, you procrastinate here again. Now, when you do these two things, when you get overwhelmed or you don't take action because you think you will fail, you feed one algorithm in your mind, which is stress, depression, and anxiety. These are the three modules in this algorithm. You can call it the black box algorithm, because this is the dark place you don't want to be. And it, in fact, affects your confidence directly as well. The more you're depressed, the less the less confidence you will have, because your past experiences keep adding negative and this black stuff, right? And your skills may be affected, your courage may be affected, you may be too dependent on outcomes because you're depressed, you're anxious, you're stressful, right? So you don't think about this as an actual life guide, because your scenarios may be different, but overall this is the flow everybody goes through. Either you act or you don't act, right? So let's talk about, if you do act, what happens. Now this is a tough one. I'll tell you why. If your prediction is algorithm is telling that you will fail and you still act, there is a very important thing you need to apply if you still act. Because you're going to still use the existing skills, the courage, the past experience, and you'll go ahead and take the action anyway. Now, if you succeed, great. By fluke, let's say you succeed due to environmental changes, you got lucky with a client, or you hit the jackpot in the lottery, I don't know, right? Let's say you do succeed, which is this blue line, dark blue line. It's success, and you learn, and you're confirming success, and your past experiences gets a positive experience. It adds a positive success experience. Now the problem is, if you do take action, even though your confidence algorithm is saying don't take action, like here, then you fail. This is the key element that I wanted to discuss today. Now, how do you take this failure? Do you say, man, I suck, I told you, right? Like we are going to fail. I told you already. Why the hell did you go ahead and try it anyway? Because we suck. Do you remember that? I told you that. Now that negative feedback feeds directly into never act again, and it goes all the way up to that stress algorithm. Make sense? So what I'm inviting you to do is, I want you to act, but when you do fail, because you will fail, because your algorithm is always accurate, most of the time it is accurate, only by chance you may succeed, but most of the time you will fail, right? When you do fail, you want to apply the concept of good. And Jocko Willink talks about this in his podcast. So I'm going to share what his thoughts are on when you fail, how do you handle that? Because when you fail, you need to handle it like, okay, great, I'm learning. This is new data for my algorithm. Now all I need to do is change the inputs to get a different outcome. So here is a video about how to apply this when you do fail from Jocko Willink. Check it out.
One of my direct subordinates, one of my guys that worked for me, he would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem, some issue that was going on. And he'd say, boss, we got this and that and the other thing. And I'd look at him and I'd say, good. And finally one day he was telling me about some issue that he was having, some problem. And he said, I already know what you're going to say. And I said, well, what am I going to say? He said, you're going to say good. He said, that's what you always say. When something is wrong and going bad, you always just look at me and say, good. And I said, well, yeah. When things are going bad, there's going to be some good that's going to come from it. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Oh, mission got canceled? Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get funded. Didn't get the job you wanted. Got injured. Sprained my ankle. Got tapped out? Good. Got beat? Good. You learned. Unexpected problems? Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution. That's it. When things are going bad, don't get all bummed out. Don't get startled. Don't get frustrated. If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
All right, great. So when you do apply this method of saying every time you fail, you say, good, I'm learning something new, you actually feed the confident algorithm and you learn new skills, you learn how to be courageous, you learn experience, you learn outcome independence because you stop giving a shit about failure. And guess what? You don't even care about this question anymore, will I succeed or not? You won't be stuck at the emotional overwhelm level because you've already done it. You will go right into action mode and you will again try, and you may fail again, you try it again. You fail again, you try it again. So the key idea is acting is much better than not acting. Taking action is way, way better than not taking action. Because if you don't act, there is nothing going back to your confidence algorithm. Literally nothing. There is no feedback going on. You're not learning shit. So if you don't act, immediately you go into this downward spiral, this rut of procrastination and stressing out, feeling anxious and depressed. And guess what? This is the ultimate loss, right? The ultimate loss of not acting. the ultimate failure of not acting is not that you will not achieve your goal, you will go back to the same place where you started. Because if you think about it, if you don't act, nothing changes, and you're still with your same life challenge 6 months from now, a year from now. So if you're in that bad relationship, if you're in that bad job, if you are in that financial situation where you're struggling, guess what? If you don't act, literally nothing changes. It's 2019 now, it will be 2020, August 28th. Nothing changes if you don't act. Just the date changes, that's all. So you're stuck again back at the life challenge. So I hope this was useful. Let me know what you think of this flowchart and share with me where you are stuck in this process. Where are you most of the time hanging out? Are you at the emotional overwhelm level, or are you at the logical level where you're not sure if you'll succeed? You don't have enough data, so you don't act and you procrastinate on that. I'm curious. Or maybe you do act, you are an action taker, but you take failure very hard. You go into this downward spiral and say, I suck. You know what? I knew that I suck. I've been told this from my childhood. I'm a really bad person, blah, blah, blah. And you go into this negative cycle. And again, you go into this black path of stress, depression, and anxiety. And you're left with the challenge again, right? So let me know where you are stuck, and I'm interested to hear from you. All right. Thank you. Until next time, take action.